Alright, so with Blender Kit enabled, we are going back to the Edit Preferences menu, and we are just going to type in this search box Node Wrangler, and we are going to enable this. This is going to come in handy in the future, and I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to search for another one which is called Sun Position. Now this one is going to be really interesting. We're going to use this to actually light our scene. So the Sun Position plugin that we just enabled is actually a really powerful tool in Blender, and it allows us to actually visualize the position of the sun relative to where you are on Earth. And basically there are many inputs that you can make. You can actually put in the month, the day, the time, and basically try and visualize where the sun will actually hit your house. So if you wanted to know how bad is the afternoon sun gonna get, or whether your clothes can dry in the kitchen because you need the sun, this is actually a really good tool to help you visualize how that's gonna happen before even your house is being built. Okay, so now you may be wondering why you're staring at this amazingly messy living room, and this is basically just a test. It's just a test to show you how accurate the Sun Position plugin works. I shot this video on the 1st of August 2022 at 5 PM, and the reason why I'm being so descriptive here is because I can actually put all that information down into the Sun Position plugin, and what it does is that it will actually calculate the position of the sun for me. So as you can see here on the right hand side, this is a mockup I did in Blender, and versus the real world reference you see on the left, you can see that the sun rays are actually casting in pretty damn accurately according to the real life reference. So this is pretty damn cool. I can actually move around my house now and try and figure out, oh, where's the sun coming in into the different rooms. And like this is my kitchen, for example. So this is going to help you sort of plan whether you want to put any solar films on the windows, or maybe not getting a dryer because you think that there's enough sunlight coming into your kitchen to dry your clothes. So this is really helpful, and basically it also helps you light the house, so you can actually have a representation of the house at different times of the day and year. Alright, so without further ado, I'm just going to show you really quickly how to set up the Sun Position from scratch. So right now here, I'm just going to go new general, and we are just going to create a brand new scene from scratch. Don't save. So we have the cube, light, and camera. And basically where we are going to find the Sun Position is this tab right here that looks like a little earth. It's a red little earth. We're just going to click on that right now. And there you can see there's a drop down menu that says Sun Position. We're just going to click on that arrow, and you can see there's a bunch of inputs to put in, but the most important thing is to add the sun object and the sky texture. So the first thing we're going to do is to add a sun object, and basically we're just going to press Shift A inside the viewport. So put your mouse inside this big square, which is the viewport right here, and we're just going to press Shift A, and we're going to add a sun. So over here, once you see the menu pops out, go to light and go to sun, click on sun, and you can see it's added over here in the outliner. Then we are just going to go down to the sun object. We're going to click on this eyedropper tool thing, and we are just going to select the sun. And as you can see, the sun has been added as the sun object, so that's great. We can actually delete this light because we don't need the light here. And the next thing we're going to do is add a sky texture. The next step, we are going to add our sky texture, and how we are going to do that is we're going to put our mouse to the top of the screen, and we are going to click on the shading tab right here. And in this little box right here, empty box, we are just going to select this from object to world. And as you can see, we have this little thing called background. I'm just using my scroll wheel to zoom in and out. And we actually just need to replace this background with this thing called a sky texture. So we're going to hover our mouse around this empty gray area here. Going to press Shift A, and this new menu is going to pop up, but we're just going to click on search and type in sky texture. and we're just going to click again left mouse button and drop this down, and we're just going to press and hold this yellow dot, and we're just going to connect it to the surface. And basically that's it. So as you can see right now, we have this little warning sign that says Nishita not available in Eevee, and we're just going to correct this really quickly by jumping back to the layout tab at the top here, and we are going to select this camera tab right here. It looks like a DSLR over here, and we're just going to change the render engine to cycles. Alright, we are almost there, and basically for this next step you don't actually have to follow me one for one, but I'm just going to show you how to actually put your details into the sun position plugin. So first of all, I'm just going to make this cube a bit longer, and I'm just going to add a ground as well, so that it sits on top of the ground. And then what I'm going to do next is that I'm just going to put my mouse over this world property menu. We're going to jump back in, and we're just going to look at the sun position, and everything seems in order. We just need to enter the coordinates. So right now I'm just going to bring up Google Maps, and we are just going to zoom in on Singapore, which is on the tip of the Malayan Peninsula. We are actually, this small little dot right here. You may have heard of Singapore Airlines, because that's like probably one of the most famous things about Singapore if you have seen an airplane. Anyway, I am just gonna find a building here somewhere in Singapore. Singapore have lots of buildings, but I'm alright. You know what? I think I found it. I think I found something similar. So let me just see. Alright, so we have this. Let's make this a little longer, and let's say this is Zhonghua Secondary School. Okay, so this little block here is now Zhonghua Secondary School, and how we're gonna input all this data into the sun position plugin is that we're just gonna right click on the place that we're looking at, click on these coordinates to copy it to your clipboard, and then over here in Blender we're just gonna select here, enter coordinates, and paste. Control V and enter, and as you can see, the latitude, longitude is all added in. We can click on this button that says show north. I'll explain this later, and then we can enter the day and time of the year as well. So let's say today's the 5th of November 2022, time is 12 p.m. You know what, maybe I'll just change it to like 4 p.m. so we get some sun at an angle where it's casting a nice shadow. And then UTC zone, we have to put in your time zone. So Singapore is +8, so we're just going to enter 8 right here, and we are just going to click on this button here that says viewport shading, and voila, we have the sun position set up. And you can see this is how the sun would cast on Zhonghua Secondary School. But here's the last step. So I'm just going to jump back here to viewport shading and explain what this view north thing is. Okay, so basically what happens is that whatever you see in Google Maps, anything that points upwards is actually north. So what you're going to do is that you're going to have to offset this north thing right here. So we are just going to put our mouse, just going to middle mouse button and drag around this viewport, and I'm just going to position myself where I am happy, that's sort of matching to what we are seeing on Google Maps. So I'm just going to make this a bit smaller. And seems like I matched it almost pretty well. So as you can see here, this is almost a pretty good match of the school, and the north is in the wrong position in Blender right now, as you can see, demarked by this blue dotted line. And in Google Maps, the north seems to be pointing upwards, which is where this pointed tip of the rectangle is. So in Blender, we're just going to go to this north offset, and we're just going to shift it to hit north like this. So it's pointing up like where this angle points up. As you can see, this is the north here, and we are sort of meshing it right now. So I'm just gonna adjust this a bit more. Yep, so this feels more right. And yeah, this would be the more accurate representation of the school and the sun. So basically, we're just gonna go jump back into this display render preview mode and see how it looks like when the sun casts its light on the school at 4 p.m. on the 5th of November 2022. And as you can see, when I'm left mouse buttoning and holding it down on the time properties, I can actually drag this around. So you can actually see at sunset, this is actually what the school would look like, what kind of shadows it's going to cast. Of course, there's many buildings around it which are not modeled. So if you did model them, you can actually see, you know, how the shadows of the school and how the light is actually hitting the school. So basically, this is just a quick overview of how the sun position works. On the next step, we are going to import a model, a pre-made model, which already has this enabled, and we just have to enter coordinates and view it.